thank you very much, Mark, for being here with us.
Thank
we
you.
are at the Hellfest, at the very heart of the dressing rooms. First of all, I would like to know what brought you to music and with what instrument first.
Well, the guitar, it
Yes.
was something I was always drawn to since I was a little kid, and my older brothers were into hard rock, and I one night stole a Metallica CD tape from my brother when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
from that moment on, I've been a metal fan and a guitar fanatic.
Yeah. Did you take lessons or are you self-taught? Or?
I took one guitar lesson, and they tried to teach me Silent Night or something, and I decided that would be my last lesson. So I just I learned from books and videos, and
That's a good way to learn guitar too.
yeah.
How did you meet the other members of Alter Bridge? Friends or?
Well, we were all in Scott and Brian and I were all in Creed, so we met in college.
Yeah.
I met Scott Phillips at a party. It was a party where a bunch of musicians were playing, and he got on the drums and I was playing guitar, and we played Living Colour's "Love Rears Up Its Ugly Head" together, and I was like, "This is our drummer. This got to be the drummer for the band."
Yeah.
And Brian was in another band in town that we had to. I think they were breaking up, so we grabbed him. We always thought the band had a great bass player, and then Scott and I went to high school together. Scott Stapp and I did, and then he came to Tallahassee because Jim Morrison had come to Tallahassee to start a band, and I was already there, and I had been looking for a singer. So when we ran into each other, it made sense to start playing, and that's how it all began with Creed, and then with Alter Bridge. Miles used to be in a band called Mayfield 4 that opened up for Creed, and we always remembered how he had a tremendous voice, and he was the first guy I wanted to call to audition for the band, and he was into it and did a great job, and we've been together since January 2nd, 2004.
How do you work together? What is the songwriting process? Who does what?
Well, I'll sit down. Me and Miles sit down and take out our favorite ideas. We write parts, and when we get together, we take our parts and put them together. So we collaborate on every song, and we get together. We're very organized, and we can put together a record relatively quickly because the stuff's already been mostly written. Just needs to be organized.
Maybe a few words about, of course, PRS guitars. You have a signature model.
Yes.
Why did you choose this brand, and how did you work, or do you work with PRS to build these guitars?
Yeah, I got a call a lot of years ago. I think it might have been 9 years ago from Jeff Lanahan, who was the artist rep at the time, and he asked if I'd like to try out a PRS, and of course I had already bought a PRS before he approached me, and I said I love the guitars. I'd love to check it out. And when I played it on stage, and it just didn't feel right because it wasn't as heavy. I grew up playing Les Pauls. It wasn't as heavy. The tone was a little rounder. It didn't have as much bite as much as I would like. The toggle switch was down here, and it was a turn knob instead of a toggle. It only had one tone knob and one volume knob. So it was just it wasn't what I was used to. So they said, all right, let's try again. So they sent me another guitar. It was a double cutaway with Dragon 2 pickups in it, and the toggle switch up here. But still, it didn't feel right. So for me being picky, they said, well, why don't we design a guitar and make it your signature model? And at that time, it was only Carlos Santana and myself. Yeah. So I was floored. I was very happy, and so we went back and forth about four or five times on the model, trying to make it different than a Les Paul and didn't make it that single cut that had that Paul Reed Smith quality on it. And I think it's the best guitar in the world. It's the craftsmanship's incredible. It's got a mahogany body, maple top, rosewood fingerboard. The pickups in mine are different than all the other PRS pickups. They're round, tighter. They have more of a hard rock, heavy metal kind of vibe to it than normal PRS pickups. Most PRS pickups have more of a blues, straight ahead rock tone to it. I wanted mine to bite a little more, and I've ran into a lot of folks who use those pickups. But I think it plays wonderful. It's great. It's great on the road. Stays in tune very well. Hardly breaks strings, and I just love them. And you can see the quality of the wood they put into it. That's the one-piece top.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's gorgeous. But and it plays as good as I could ever imagine a guitar playing. So,
What sort of gauge do you use on the brand you choose? D'Addario.
D'Addario, yeah.
This is your favorite brand to use?
Yeah.
It's very important, the strings.
You know, I've used D'Addario since I was young. I've only experimented a little bit, but D'Addario seemed to be what I'm comfortable with. But I use a bunch of different gauges of strings. Usually, if I'm playing a half step down, I'll use from a set of 11s, the lower strings, so they're a little thicker, so I can get the big meaty rhythm tones. But up top on the the E, B, and G string, I use strings from a set of 10s. So if I'm doing a lot of bending, I don't destroy my fingers on those 11s. So I got the nice heavy rhythms, and then the bendable, G and B and E strings. But then we have songs that are tuned down a step and a half, where I have real thick, heavy bottom, light top kind of situation.
Okay. So maybe to conclude the plans for the future, on mid or long terms, I don't know, maybe another album or.
Oh yeah, we're doing a tour called the Carnival of Madness tour for about a month and a half, and then we go to Australia with Van Halen, doing some Van Halen festival shows, and then. After that, we come back to Europe to do our headlining show, and this will be our first, our biggest headlining tour we've done yet, and we're excited about that. And then I've been working on a solo record that's going to come out. New music will start getting released in January of next year, and hopefully the CD will be around next summer. And then as well, next year we're talking about getting some new Creed music and a tour next summer. So it's a busy year.
Yes, yes, of course. Just to conclude, a few words for the Hellfest community.
First time here, Hellfest. Thanks for having me. I mean, this is some of the coolest bands I've ever seen in one event. So I can't wait to go and get out there and check everybody out. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Thank you for your time, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.